What is a psychological trick you know to really with someone? Easiest way I know is when walking into an elevator. Don't turn around and look at the door. Just stare at the wall in front of you after you hit your button. People get freaked out so easily because you aren't doing what normal people always do, and it messes with their head trying to figure out what you are doing it for. If you want to really mess with someone, go up to them and ask them, "Hey, do you ever get that creepy déjà vu feeling?" Then like a week later wear the same thing and ask them the same question. I've done this to so many people and their reactions are hilarious. When you are talking to someone, if you interrupt them and say "walk with me" in a busy tone and start walking away, they will walk with you and continue the conversation without hesitation. You can lead them wherever you want, really. If you're close-quartered with someone, you can intentionally choose one word out of the lexicon to mispronounce. Swear up and down that your way is the correct way, and the correct way is actually the wrong but popular version. After months of intentionally mispronouncing the word shrimp, my mother now says scrimp. It's been 2 years and I can't undo this. Help. I had a friend that would casually eat a slice of American cheese while taking orders at a particularly rude table, not say anything other than normally asking what they wanted to eat. Bite of cheese. It would immediately make the guy trying to impress his date by being awful to the server totally docile because it was so awkward. My favorite is the slight lean and making a face like you're farting. I only use it to mess with people. I don't actually fart. It'll derail any conversation. Pro tip: actually fart, then make a worried face. I worked with a friend who kept a 12-pack of Mountain Dew under his desk. For a while I'd sneak extra cans back into the box. Not a lot, and just enough that he was sure he drank more than the box would hold. Nursery rhymes. Hum a few bars, stop, then start a few bars later and repeat. If you pick one person and one song for that person, it can be quite annoying, especially done over a few days or weeks. Had a group of engineer overseers, 3 of them to be exact, that I would always use 3 blind mice every time they got close. Ha! Took them about 4 months to finally say please stop. If somebody is talking and talking, giving you no chance to say what you want to say, drop something very loud on the floor, then begin to talk. I just imagine myself at someone's house dropping an antique vase or something just to get my voice heard like some kind of lunatic, and think that would be hilarious. That's called being a cat. Call them something they are wearing by choice. Whatever you say. Turtleneck. Sure thing. Pink shorts. Take a fake homework to school and ask them if they had done it. Say have a good day and then follow it with something applicable only to them. Then watch them say thanks you too, only to realize what they said doesn't make sense. I do this with Uber Eats drivers all the time. Have a great day. Drive safe. Thanks. You too. Wait. Quote. When meeting someone for the first time, say oh hello again and shake their hand, even if they go for like a high five. Transfer it into a handshake. They will not ask for your name or any information, they will just think that you definitely know them from somewhere and they just forgot. Especially in my teenage years, it freaked people out to not react angrily to the tries of bullying, insulting you. At some point I even agreed with them on certain topics. That got them extremely confused. Or yeah, after a while, this was my go-to tactic as a frequently bullied teenage girl. If someone said some mean shit about me, I'd say something meaner about myself, and they'd instantly back off. E.g., them, damn, you ugly as hell, me, yeah, dog, and I'm chubby too, you see this double chin, gross. Then they're just silent. I considered it a power move. They could never be as mean to me as I am, and I just made them uncomfortable. You can classically condition someone to associate 2 things pretty easily. Say a particular phrase whenever a certain song comes on, and eventually they'll associate the 2, and always remember that phrase whenever they hear the song. Immediately after they look at the time, ask them if they know what time it is. Chances are, they will have to look at the time again. It's been proven that people will stand in a long queue, even if they have no idea what it is for. People do it all the time at festivals and things. Start a queue with your friends in front of a trash bin or something innocuous. Then everyone just casually walks away after a load of people not in on the joke join the end of the queue. I forget the exact study, but basically in an office setting you can tell anyone anything, and as long as it's on an official memo, anywhere between 60 to 80% will comply. I think in the study they had it as take this memo to an isolated room, and most people just did it. Wild stuff. Tell someone you want to play rock paper scissors. As you're both getting ready to count down, compliment their shirt or something to throw them off and start counting down. Then, you pick rock. When you interrupt someone's concentration during the game, they automatically go to the most recent thing in their head, which will be scissors rock, paper, scissors. It works every time until they realize you're messing with them. It's not really psychological, but let's say someone is 25 or 30 feet behind me while we're both walking down a hallway. There's a 90-degree corner coming up. I round the corner, then run really quietly so I'm really far ahead of the person behind me. Then I walk my normal speed again. When they round the corner, they're surprised to see how far away I am now compared to how normal I was walking. If you've been in a space in close proximity to a stranger, elevator, library, etc., and neither of you have acknowledged each other or spoken, when you go to leave say it was nice to meet you. Then walk away. Adding real quick to the end of a request adds a sense of urgency that compels people to do whatever you tell them. Example, Dari, give me your wallet real quick. And before you know it, Dari hands you his wallet. If you want something from someone, like a favor, but you don't think they'll help, ask for more than what you want. Knowing they'll say no, then ask for what you really want. They will be more inclined to help with the lesser favor. Offer somebody gum but don't take a piece for yourself. If you're eating with them, ask them a question as soon as they take a bite of food. When talking to them, stare at their nose, and when they ask why you're staring at their nose, tell them that you aren't. While in a conversation with someone, just smoothly hand something over. They will automatically take it, and vice versa. If you take something from their hand, they will automatically hand it over. When you get into an elevator with other people, don't turn around to face the doors. With zero context, ask someone who did they tell you that to. Then just watch as pure confusion washes over their face. The sentence means literally nothing and it is fantastic. This was bad to read while high. Look distractedly at their nose or some part of their face. Then scratch or rub the corresponding part on your own face. They'll supposedly get confused and think they have something on them. This was from the book Mind Control, The Ancient Art of Psychological Warfare by the dubiously named Ha Lung. My emotionally unstable brother bought this book and I had to see what the hell he was actually reading. The author sounds like a nutcase through his writing. Point out something that someone does all the time. One of my coworkers would leave the office at the end of the day and forget his headphones. So he'd leave the office and have to run in again to grab them. I told him I noticed he always forgot his headphones, and how he's self-conscious about it and never forgets them anymore. That actually seems more helpful than annoying. Hey Brad, I notice how you never get your work done every day. Stare at the forehead while they are talking. It really freaks people out. Jim was onto something. Silence. It's a very effective interview technique, because as humans we are conditioned to break silences in conversations. I had a conversation with my former boss who was kind of a psychopath. He started by saying he needed to ask me a question, then he made a bunch of statements and then just stopped and was silent. I assumed his question was implied by the statements, so I started to respond to the statements. He cut me off and chastised me for interrupting when he hadn't asked the question yet. Then he did the same thing. Several statements. Then silence. Then I start to talk and get yelled at. He did this 3 times before finally asking a question. I thought he was absolutely nuts. Later I learned this is a technique people use to establish dominance. When someone needs to establish dominance to work with me, I go find another job. One time back in high school while working at a pizza place, we put a blanket on one of the manager's cars with a note under the windshield wiper that said, "Here so you can sleep with the fishies." That was over 20 years ago. He still sometimes brings up the mistaken mafia death threat to this day. Don't worry, you can hardly notice it. Hand them trash in a conversation. Usually, if you reach out with something, the other person will take it, and if they're busy talking to you, they won't pay attention to what you're handing them. I do it sometimes for fun, and the expression I get when they finally look down and realize I just handed them my trash to take care of is great. My boss handles stress terribly, so in one-on-ones, he tends to snap and spend the hour complaining about people. Sometimes people end up getting chewed out or yelled at in a meeting that's supposed to be about their development. When I first began in my department, he noticed me putting on perfume and said his wife wears the same one. It's not anything fancy, just one that's widely known. Every time I go into my one-on-one with him, I apply the perfume right before. He generally speaks very softly to me and doesn't snap at me like he does with others, and I'm pretty sure it's because he smells me and thinks of his wife. Messed up that it takes that to get a manager to treat you humanely, but it works. He knows the smell of fear. When disagreeing with someone, try replacing but with an. It is remarkably disconcerting when the person you are arguing with stops arguing with you and you don't realize it.